Hey, wake up!
What? Did we hit 100 million?
Yes, we hit 100 million in 24 and a half hours.
Correction, we actually filmed this before the official numbers came out, and we actually hit 101 million views in 24 hours. Go Army!
Hear all about Dynamite's record-breaking performance,
The long-awaited full music video,
and a chance to have BTS see you personally.
Of course, we will also cover this week's episode of Iland.
Catch all this and more on this week's episode of idolfm. You're listening to the idolfm podcast. I'm Tenzin, and yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, shout out to Ellie Lee, Dynamite came out this week.
And I'm Patty, and I'm excited to talk about Dynamite.
Woo! So let's do it. The episode today will primarily be covering the Dynamite comeback, of course, but we will also cover a bit of Iland, because they did have kind of a continuation of their BTS episode, considering they did their BTS songs.
Yep.
And then we might cover some random-ish from here and there. So I guess we'll just go right into it. The main non-BTS related thing is probably ITZY's comeback. Not shy. Not
shy.
Yeah, I really loved it. I thought it was really good. I still have it stuck in my head, the moves and the song.
No, yeah, I have that chorus stuck in my head, and, I forget who sings it exactly, but shout out to whoever does, and, like, the ITZY part in the background.
Chaeryeong.
Oh, okay.
Chaeryeong. Chaeryeong. So Chaeryeong, this very young Chair sings it.
Chaeryeong.
But yeah, really great. JYP, honestly, I love Twice, but I will say that ITZY has somehow climbed up the ranks for me in terms of my favorite girl group. I think maybe they're my favorite girl group right now. And they're of the fourth generation too, so that's pretty big deal.
Yeah. I think they're all really talented, and they all they do great on the stage, and all those practice videos. Very good. And yeah, I feel like they've been very active ever since they debuted. So I guess like the frequent promotions help, but I feel like they're definitely like the rising, like to be like one day like top girl group.
Yeah.
Energy.
Yeah, speaking of them like recently debuting, they had 4 comebacks and they just debuted last year. So that's crazy. But I guess TXT also debuted last year and they probably had 3 comebacks.
Oh, yeah, it feels like they had a lot too.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to more of their music and their comebacks, probably in the next, coming months. I still have yet to listen to the whole album, but I'll do that eventually. Honestly, I probably won't. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Okay, wait.
I mean, they'll probably have, another comeback, in a few months, let's be real.
JYP and their overworked artists. Oof, where is that change.org petition?
JYP. Does he still do that in songs?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
He doesn't. But it's actually not sad. It's actually not shy. We said in the last week's podcast episode, actually, that Not Shy, potentially, I think you said there's a 90% chance it's going to sound just like Wannabe, Icy, and Dala Dala. And what do you think now? What is the percentage?
I personally think it stands out from their past songs.
Yep, okay,
I feel like all of their past songs were very, very similar. And I do think Not Shy does stand out. But, I don't know, it doesn't stand out in the way where it's, a completely different genre, but just, that, whole, I don't know what to call it, the flow.
Yeah.
Is a bit different.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I especially love the verses. Actually, I don't know if you love it too. I especially love the verses, especially the second verse, where Chaeryeong and Yoona are having their little moment. I feel like it's to me, it sounds like early 2000s R&B pop. Reminiscent of that, Nina Sky song. I don't know if I showed you.
I don't think you showed me that song, but...
The song that's move your body, girl, make stuff
happen.
It reminds me of that.
Oh, okay.
And if you know that song and you disagree, keep it to yourself. Just kidding. In the words...
She said she's not shy.
Not shy. In the words of David Lee, E. Daly from 86, and if you have something bad to say, it'll come back to you. I'm going to cut that all out. Anyways. Other than that, I feel like we don't have any other random news. We're probably just going to dive right into BTS.
There's been a huge boom in the industry.
A huge boom indeed.
Because of a certain Dynamite.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I don't know why I'm stealing LA Lee's brand. But Dynamite came out this week, just technically like almost 48 hours ago now.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And
yeah.
24 of those 48 hours we spent streaming. And we'll go into that, but...
Yeah. I mean, we can literally just, like, list out a lot of records that were broken, and there's honestly a ton more,
right?
But I feel like one of the biggest records that ARMY wanted to break,
let them know,
was achieving the highest number of views in 24 hours, as well as being the fastest video to hit 100 million views,
right?
So we currently have the record, which YouTube still has to confirm.
We still acknowledge that 98 million views is insane. Like, some videos never even hit, I mean, our videos don't even hit 10,000 views, Speaking of, plug for our YouTube channel, if you are listening to this on SoundCloud, which you're probably not because we lost capacity. If you're listening to this on Anchor FM, maybe, or Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, I don't know if we're on there yet, but maybe sometime in the future, 6 months from now, a year from now, you're listening to this and we're on there. We also have a YouTube channel called idolfm Podcast. If you just search idolfm Podcast, it'll come up. And we just post our podcast episodes onto there, as well as some special content. Recently, we reacted to the Dynamite teaser video, and that was really fun.
Yep,
So check that out if you have not already. But anyways, back to the records. Another record that we broke was the largest premiere for a YouTube video with over 3 million viewers. So that's pretty cool. I know that when we were literally watching this video, we got there was like 100,000, and then all of a sudden like 1 million, 2.9 million, 3 million. So it was pretty cool. I feel like it's especially cool to actually be there for the lives, for, the endless streaming, and then feeling like you are really contributing to these records.
Yeah, I think the moment that we were like, oh my God, was when we were watching their V Live, but that was like a separate video from their like actual music video link. So we were watching the V Live, and then we were like, oh my God, like when are they gonna stop? When do we like go to the actual music video link? And then bam, right when their live ended, we automatically got taken to the music video.
Props to that coder, programmer, whoever did that. That was really
good.
Thank you,
YouTube Music.
Right.
But no, that was really cool just to like be sent there and have the video start right away.
Yeah.
And we see millions online. I think that was awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. So another record that was broken is that Dynamite music video was the fastest video to reach 5 million likes, 6, 7, and 8 million likes on a single video, which was amazing. And of course, like we've already stated kind of previously, it was the fastest video to reach 100 million views. And also, like we stated previously with the views, we did hit 100 million views just in over a day, a little bit over a day, 30 minutes over. But we were also the fastest video to reach 10 million views in only 23 minutes, which was insane. I remember we hit that first refresh.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and we were like, where the heck did these views come from? And it was all because of the ARMY. So I am very happy, and I'm glad, and I hope BTS are also happy with seeing the numbers.
Yeah. It was really crazy.
Yeah,
it was just all of a sudden, and I think it really helped to just like boost our momentum.
Right.
Because it wasn't just YouTube that we broke records. Spotify.
Yeah.
It's first of all, it's kind of crazy because like BTS is a South Korean group, and there's not even a Spotify platform that Koreans in South Korea can use.
Right.
So it's pretty crazy that, one record was we had the biggest debut on Spotify with Dynamite ever. Out of all artists with 12 million streams, which is very, very crazy.
Right.
And we also topped the Spotify Global Top 200 chart with 7.8 million streams. And I don't think any like Korean artist has ever like topped that chart before. So it's pretty cool to click on that playlist and see BTS at the top.
I feel like just that alone is such a metaphor, and not even metaphor, just like a physical manifestation of their literal global impact and the records they are setting. Because I feel like we've talked about this before, as ARMYs, it's kind of hard to see their impact from an unbiased perspective.
Yeah.
So we're like, are they actually this huge, or do we just really love their music?
Yeah.
But no, they're actually that big. So anyways.
Yeah, literally. And yeah. And also it's like just crazy. Like they got this big just like being themselves and just like continuing like, you know, singing in their own language and not kind of like they haven't ever like fully adapted or changed their ways to kind of fit in with the whole Western entertainment industry, I feel like.
Yeah.
They've always like kept their own like methods of, you know, whether it's promotions or just like their own music and albums. They've like stuck to who they were. So yes, this song was like in English, and I think they did try a bit harder in like especially like social media platforms that might be more popular in America than
For
Korea.
sure.
But I mean, seeing how this was like the first song in all English and seeing the impact this made, like imagine if they like, you know, if all of their albums were like
Had actually
if they were all in English, if they all had this type of promotion, then you know.
Yeah, if anything, I know they've said in the past that if they ever came out with an English record, it wouldn't be them. It wouldn't be BTS. And actually, they addressed this in one of their interviews. Someone actually asked them, like, so what changed? Why are you making an English record now? And I know that RM kind of phrased it like, you know, things change, which I appreciate that he's not, like, stubborn about statements they've made in the past. I mean, obviously, they have integrity and, like, their values and their morals. But I think something that they really tried to portray through this whole comeback, well, this single specifically, is that it's really targeted to the international fans and the English-speaking fans because of the literal pandemic we're in right now, and we do need that support. A lot of countries in Asia are handling this pandemic a little bit better, and so their lifestyles are not as dramatically changed as the ones as, you know, like literally ours in America right now. So I really like that. It almost feels like, you know, something that, you know, BTS said they would never do, and then they thought that we really needed it, and so they were like, you know what, we'll do it for ARMY. Like, I love that.
Yeah. And I think that's also kind of a whole concept of like just in society right now. I feel like a lot of people like might get called out for some things, but then you also have to realize like people can, you know, hear different perspectives and grow from that.
Right.
And yeah, because literally no one thought like our world would, you know,
literally this
be
would ever happen
in this status.
Right.
Like this year has been crazy.
Right.
But they saw a need for something and they fulfilled it.
And I love that. I love that. I feel like it shows how much they really do care about their fan base. Maybe I'm just being sentimental going off of, you know, streaming for so long, but I think, you know, sometimes as ARMYs you might wonder, do they know how hard we're working to bring them these numbers, to help them break these records? But then, you know, they do stuff like this where they're like, okay, we made this song specifically for international ARMYs going through this pandemic, and I don't know, I feel like it shows through their actions that they do see our efforts and they want to pay it back in the same way that we see their efforts and we want to pay it back by, you know, helping them break records, helping them achieve new goals and streams and stuff. And I don't know, I like it. I feel like the relationship between BTS and ARMY is very unique from other artists and fan bases, and I feel like it's like a very symbiotic like system, and we get each other.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I feel like it's like it's like a relationship. It's not just someone like.
So yes, that's right. I'm taken. I
mean, that's what I literally tell people. Like,
right.
You know, like I have like 7 really important relationships in my life.
Right.
I'm like, I don't need anyone else.
Right. Exactly.
But
8.
anyways,
yourself.
Right. Because love yourself
right.
always. Anyways, yeah, I just feel like this is like a true relationship, and you know, we're all giving and we're all contributing to this relationship.
Right. It's just like a very it's a really meaningful understanding between artist and fan base. We'll read some of these other records that Dynamite also hit in the first 24 hours. Fastest song in iTunes history to reach number 1 in 101 countries. BTS becomes the first and only act to reach 100 number ones on iTunes in 3 different languages.
That's
Don't
pretty
really
cool.
know which languages they're talking about. Oh, maybe English, Japanese, Korean. Got it. Okay. For a second, I thought Dynamite came out in 3 different languages. In that case, we have not been streaming enough. And then again, a bunch of the YouTube records that we already went over. So yeah, the YouTube records were insane, and this is very meaningful to us because this was our first time really literally sitting down and just streaming for 24 hours.
Like our phones, our laptops, for 24 straight hours.
Yeah.
Like
even longer. So, okay, some context is, let's say, on average, that Thursday morning, we woke up at let's say 8 o'clock, and the video came out at midnight that same night. So we were up all day, and then we were up until the next day midnight because we needed to stream. So that was about 24 plus. So that was about 24 plus 8 plus 12, 16, 40 hours. So we were up for 40 hours.
And a little bit more because we just wanted the music video to hit 100 million.
And yes, if you're wondering, I did take a nap. It was a 2-hour long nap.
I held on the fort. I was streaming on her laptop and phone.
Right.
I was updating the videos, and yeah, I mean, we reached the numbers, so I think those helped. Those worked, but
maybe we would have hit 100 million in 24 if I haven't taken a nap.
Honestly, maybe you're right.
Yeah, maybe. And then when Patricia was working at her job, I was holding down the fort.
Right.
For 4 hours.
Right. That was, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But anyways, yeah, this was our first time, and we were able to do this together, which was nice. And I feel like it definitely helps to keep up the momentum and the motivation when you are with someone else streaming.
Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to do this.
Honey.
If I was by myself.
I would have said, "Oh, that's a cute video," and then went to sleep. Just kidding, Ami. But am I kidding? I don't know. I like my sleep. Clearly.
I mean, even with for the last release, quote, I would say maybe not official last release, because I feel like the official last release.
Stapled.
Yeah, I feel like the official last release was on.
Yeah.
But kind of a release they had was Stay Gold. Mm-hmm. And we still woke up at 5, 6 a.m. for it.
Right.
But we didn't stay streaming.
Right. Are you gonna expose us?
Okay, maybe
I'm gonna cut that out.
Okay. We've never purely just only solely focused on YouTube streaming.
Yes.
In our one past comeback.
Yeah, okay, don't cancel us because we've actually only been ARMYs for a little bit over a year now. A majority of that was, I think, just enjoying their music, getting to know them as people, getting to know their discography, but then this was our first real comeback where we were like, oh, we're in this. We are committed to streaming.
Yeah.
And it was a good one. Like 100 million goal. That's a really great, yeah.
I think we honestly had reasonable goals.
Yeah.
And I think just ARMY as a community, we're all very supportive of each other, especially on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, highly recommend that you go on Twitter and make an account.
Twitter ARMY is where you need to be if you want to have information at the tip of your fingers. And yeah, also another plug, if you do not already follow us on Twitter, we are on Twitter at idolfm podcast. We do occasionally live tweet iland and just keep up to date on other BTS, kpop, iland, bighit topics. So check us out there if you have not already.
Yeah. And also, if you do decide to join Twitter ARMY, in case you haven't, although most ARMY is, already on Twitter, there's a lot of accounts that just have all these statistics and information that I literally don't know where they get it from, but it's super informative. Accounts BTS chart data, BTS analytics.
Right.
I think they're super informative, and I think I've learned more about the music industry than I have ever before, which is really cool.
Yeah, I feel like Twitter ARMYs are insane because we also have, accounts that are called the ARMY Bar Association, which is literally ARMYs who have jobs in the legal industry or are lawyers and are able to give other ARMYs more details on things like music law and the legalities of copyright and things like that. So it's super, super informative, super enriching. And also accounts like 1 in a Million, ARMY 1 in a Million, which is, make sure you look that up and get the right account. It'll be the account with all the followers, but which is basically the philanthropy account that ARMYs use to collect donations from other ARMYs. And I feel like they were actually the account that ran the Black Lives Matter fundraiser, and we were able to use that account as a platform to raise $1 million as ARMYs around the world. So that was insane. Honestly, I'm not judging anyone here, but if you are an ARMY, you gotta get on Twitter. There is a lot of drama. Just avoid it. Follow those big accounts and do your part, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like no matter like what kind of account you are on Twitter, Twitter is a place for people to, you know, share their words. So I feel like there will always be different opinions and different voices, but you know, it's also a great resource to get so much information from.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's super interactive.
And also Twitter is very up to date. If they post, if BTS posts something, if Big Hit posts something, Twitter is the first to literally talk about it within seconds. Yeah. Literally within
Information
seconds.
is instantaneous.
Right.
And also, I feel like the growth of BTS was also deeply rooted into them themselves using Twitter and tweeting however they wanted to, whenever they wanted to.
Right.
And that was their way of engaging with the fans. So.
Yeah. And they still engage with us there to this day.
Yeah, they might tweet a bit less each month, but they get probably like 100 times more likes and retweets than they've ever gotten before.
So true. But don't worry, if you're a Yoongi stan like me, we do get well fed. It's fine. Many selfies.
That's true. This summer was Yoongi.
This summer was Yoongi. I would argue every summer is Yoongi, but I digress. Okay, so basically all in all, streaming experience, I would give it a 10 out of 10 because it felt like we were really a part of something.
Yeah, same. Like, even though, like, you know, we're in New York, the city is still quarantined. Like, we're literally just, like, in an apartment together, like, doing nothing but streaming.
Literally.
But honestly, like, you know, like, in a separate tab, we'd check Twitter, and we just, like, see what the community's saying. And everyone's just so supportive. Like, keep going, ARMY. Like, we've reached this goal. Like, oh, let's reach, like, this number of views in the next hour. And it's super interactive. And I honestly had a great time, and just, I think also just seeing the outcomes at the end just really feels fulfilling. And it's not like it's just because, like, oh, we want the fandom to, like, have all the records. It's more about, like, we want to give back to the artists that have spent time. And, like, didn't Hobie literally say they practiced for, like, 18 hours a day? Like, hello, if they're doing this, like, we might as well just take a few hours, just take one day to give back.
Right.
When people have, like, practice for, like, probably weeks.
Honestly, it's maybe, you know, I feel like ARMY is a very sentimental, very hyper emotional fandom, and maybe we're being overly sentimental, but I feel like literally breaking records and giving them 100 million views is the least we can do. Especially BTS, the messages that they send out through their music, and not even through their music, just like through their actions and through their lives, through their personal messages, it has changed many people's lives, millions of people's lives.
Yeah.
Dare I say millions.
I think you can. They got like 28 million followers.
Right, literally. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it just goes back to what we were saying about the relationship that ARMYs have with BTS and vice versa. And the wonderful thing about it is that the relationship is not exclusive. If you want to be a part of this, you can become an ARMY, listen to their music, and really pick up on the messages and be a part of this very wonderful experience. I feel like this is, again, maybe I'm being over emotional. I feel like this is something that we're gonna look back on when we're older with very fond memories.
Sure. Like, yeah. Especially like being with like our first streaming experience, like in general.
Yeah.
And also just the fact that it was Dynamite, because I feel like even if you just listen to the song and just watch the music video, you can tell that they just want to uplift people. And I feel like this is also like a good way to get into their other music if you haven't listened to, and like actually read into their messages.
Right.
But I mean, I remember like when we first saw the video and when we actually like first listened to the song and like looked through the lyrics, it was just so fun. And like they were, you know, also being a little nostalgic and referencing like past times, but also just trying to have fun with it. And everything just like really makes sense and comes together, especially with like their interview answers. As they're saying, they just want to give us energy during this time.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like that's why when the video first premiered, we were all very joyful and happy, and I know the rest of ARMY was too.
Right, yeah. You talked about the song in the video. I feel like I especially like that the song was so simple.
Yeah.
It really did what they wanted to do and what it needed to do, which was just, like you said, make people happy during this time of stress, provide a bit of distraction, and just make people feel good, make people feel positive.
Yeah.
And that's what it did.
Yeah.
So.
And summer might not like have that much time left, but I really feel like this is like a summer bop. Like when you hear it, it's just so cheerful and like motivating, and light, but also like gives you energy at the same time.
Yeah.
It was nice. And I also highly recommend you listen to the instrumental. Because, like, it almost, like, sounded like a completely different song to me in the beginning. But but it was, like, still really good. So it wasn't just, like, the lyrics and vocals, but also just, like, the composition of the song itself was it was really good. Yeah, just makes you feel good.
Shout out to songwriters, producers, and everyone who put together the record. Yeah, looking forward to the future album. Not necessarily connected, but we'll see.
Yeah. It sounded like that they're not 100% sure if this will be on the album, which makes sense because I think this was a little bit out of their element.
Right.
But when this like song kind of like came across their laps, they're like, oh, I really like this. Like,
yeah,
we should do something with it.
RM literally said it was like a perfect coincidence that they found this song. And he even said like the demo was perfect as it was. They didn't want to change anything.
Yeah.
Which was interesting to me. So I guess they really liked it. They thought it was a perfect song for us, and they released it. And you know what? They were right.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, if they didn't release anything between like, you know, their literal last album between and then like their next album, it would have been like a long period of time. And I feel like they've been probably feeling anxious because they haven't been able to perform. So I think it makes sense that they release something now to kind of like keep us fed a bit until their big comeback with their new album, which is coming out sometime
in October.
Yes.
Sometime then.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Yep. According to Jin.
According to Jin.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, the song bop, video beautiful. We loved it.
Oh, and I remember also a fun fact, this was like the directors of the video, like the company that helps direct and create their music videos. They posted about how it was like raining a lot because it was like monsoon season in Korea, and it's been raining and some areas have been getting flooded. But they were supposed to shoot like on set outdoors, which they weren't able to do because of the rain, and they had to build sets. So I feel like even with these like things coming in their way, even with these obstacles, they were still able to overcome and create this really cute video. But I'm excited to see also what will be on the B-side, which I'm guessing the music video will either be for the acoustic or the EDM remix version.
And you think that's going to be the B-side?
I think so, because Columbia Records tweeted apparently that, I think it was Columbia Records, but someone tweeted how if you pre-ordered like the acoustic or EDM remix versions, that you'll receive them August 24th, which is when they are released. And that's when the B-side music video will get released, so...
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to see what the video is. It's interesting that they, said that they were even making a B-side to this single. I'm confused as to what that even means. I know a lot of Twitter armies were speculating that it would be another release, a collab with Becky G.
Oh, yes, that purple heart.
Yeah, she uses purple hearts, but who knew? She's using it for her own song, so...
Yep, she just
loves
purple
Becky.
Hearts. We can't assume that everyone that uses purple hearts, like, is an army, but,
We can't assume, but it's not the dumbest assumption.
Right. And she was on a collab with J-Hope.
Right.
So I'm personally kind of leaning towards the acoustic version.
Okay.
Just because I think this song was like extra poppy and upbeat and hyped.
Disco.
Yeah, it would kind of... I don't know. I'm like interested in how the acoustic version will be. And hey, maybe one day Suga and Jungkook can play it on the guitar for us live one day.
They have been playing a lot of guitar recently.
Yep.
Speaking of other versions, Big Hit also released news that we are going to have a lip sync video contest. And we don't have that many specific details, but right now it seems like that they're inviting armies to create music videos of their own for the song Dynamite. Columbia Records posted on their YouTube channel an official lip sync guide. And at first, when they posted that, we were like, why is it called a lip sync guide and not just a lyric video?
Sense. Yeah.
So that was a extra added countdown onto the website.
Yeah.
And the lip sync video contest came out. So I'm assuming that means submit a video onto that website, BTS 082120.com, I think is the website. BTS dash 08021, whatever. So I think what you have to do is upload a video onto the website, the official BTS Countdown website, and just go from there. We still are waiting on maybe, I don't even know if we're waiting. We'll see if we even get more details. Things like deadline, format, horizontal, vertical, things like that. But I'm assuming it's going to be just like a compilation and maybe BTS will react to it. But we'll see when the deadlines come up. We'll see if we submit a video, possibly, maybe, why not? Who knows?
Yep.
And yeah, should be fun. Other than that, do you have any other last comments on, I guess, the video, the song, the comeback, anything?
I mean, I just think like the entire experience was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Song, video.
It was a 7 out of 7.
Right. 7 out of 7. I mean, if you include ARMY, make that 8 out of 8.
If you include Manager and Hitman Bang, it's back to a 10 out of 10.
Okay, we could just keep it at a 10 out of 10. But yeah, and I just say, you know, ARMY, keep streaming. And I think the craziest thing is like we literally streamed the song like all day, and we've been streaming it like all day the next day as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm personally just not tired of the song.
Yeah, I'm
like,
still here for it.
Like, if looping wasn't allowed on streaming, I would just like probably keep the song and like the instrumental like on loop.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really catchy. I love Jungkook's opening verses. It's just a good song. It really is.
Yeah.
I could see how RM listened to that and was like, don't change it. It's perfect.
Yeah, I totally understand. But yeah, stream Dynamite.
Stream Dynamite for good health. We're still working on breaking records. Oh, if any armies are listening, I'm assuming you're all armies if you're listening, or you're my dad. Anyways, shout out. But basically, our current goal is to hit, 200 million before the next music video comes out.
Yeah.
Which is in a few days. And I think it's doable. Right now we're at around 140, I believe. So just a few more days of streaming, we should hit 200 million with no trouble.
Yeah, and let's hit that 1 billion.
Yeah, let's hit that 1 billion.
Within this month. Maybe not this month, but like in a month.
Oh man. Okay, well, I love that. We did good work.
Good job, ARMY.
Good job, Ami. So next up, of course, this was a huge week, of course, for sure, for BTS Dynamite release, but we still have room in our minds and our hearts for our favorite Mnet survival show, iland. And this was a big one too, for sure.
Eggies unite.
Eggies assemble.
Eggies assemble.
Eggies
assemble.
Anyways.
This week was special because we finally got to see the actual performances of the BTS songs.
Yes.
Which were DNA,
I Need You,
and Fake Love.
Yes. I remember last week we were talking about how Taki was the one to choose the group for Fake Love, and we were a little sus. And honestly, now that I think about it, maybe we were just affected by editing.
Yeah, because honestly, that group is solid. And honestly, if you have Heesung in your group, you're gonna have like an additional like.
You can fit any space. You can fit any spot that you might be lacking.
Yeah, like literally, he took that solo in the beginning with that modern dance.
Yeah. So how do we feel about Sungwoon originally having that spot and then suddenly Heesung took it out of nowhere?
I mean, I would expect someone to like be comfortable with modern dance,
doing something like that,
just because figure skating, it's like a pretty graceful sport.
Yeah, for sure.
You need to be flexible to do that. But also maybe just like the environment is different, and I feel like for figure skating you have kind of like a more long-term like practice like training going on, and Heesung has literally been like dancing for a while now. I mean, at least I'm guessing
at least like 3 years.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, dancing is different from skating, so I guess like we shouldn't expect like someone that's skating to automatically
be able to like automatically transfer their skills. Yeah. Sungwoon was probably like, why is this floor not slippery?
Exactly.
And Hitman Bang was like, okay. But yeah, so out of the 3, I Need You, DNA, Fake Love, what would you say was your favorite performance?
I would have to give it to Fake Love.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that everyone in Fake Love was better than everyone in the other 2 groups, but I just think overall Fake Love just had a bigger impact on me. And I definitely will say a lot of it was because of Heesung's solo in the beginning.
Right. Okay, wait. Just as a recap, who was in Fake Love? Heesung,
Sunghoon, Sunwoo, and Taki.
really strong players. Obviously, Taki did end up receiving the lowest rank from the judges, which was upsetting to not only everyone watching, but also to Taki himself, because Fake Love ended up becoming the group with the highest score. So that meant that everyone in that group was exempt from being eliminated. But Taki had the lowest score overall out of all the contestants, which meant he would not be eliminated even though he did have the lowest score. And that meant number 11 would be the auto eliminated.
Yep.
Speaking of, that will take us into the next group performance, which was I Need You, which was
Konwoo, Jungwon, Jay, and Daniel.
Yes. Really strong vocalists.
Yeah, I honestly thought this was also a really strong group. So I was surprised that the other trainees didn't really think of this one as like the group to beat. Most groups I think listed DNA. Which
they did actually. Yeah,
which I understand because they have the strongest dancers.
Yeah.
But I do think I Need You gotta give all of those guys credit, especially for their vocals.
Yeah, for sure. Super strong vocalists. Speaking of DNA, so that was definitely the group to look out for in terms of dancers, like you said.
Yeah.
So we had Kay, we had Jay, Nikki, and Hanbin. So literally, they're all dancers.
Yeah, I think
primarily.
they honestly might be like the top dancers.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the main dancers of the show. But okay, let's go through the actual rankings, because I think it's interesting how the members from each subunit are split up.
Okay.
So of course, my number one from day one, I'm just saying, Heesung from Fake Love with the score of 93.
Yep.
Highest score, well deserved. I've said this before in other episodes, but I feel like he just has a lot of experience from his training, and it really shows in his performance. So no brainer. Number 2, one of your faves.
Yep, Jungwon, and he got an 81, which was a pretty significant gap from the first place.
Right.
I personally think he could have gotten a bit more, like maybe like mid 80s.
Okay.
As a score, but honestly, I think Jungwon is just someone that is good at almost everything.
Yeah.
And like vocals, dancing, and just like stage presence, charisma.
I totally agree. If anyone's following my saga of mixing up Jungwon and Daniel, I no longer mix them up anymore. I know who is who, and I actually think I've been giving Jungwon less credit than he deserves, and I think he's actually a very stable, all-around performer. So excited to see how he continues on in the competition. Number 3 is Sunghoon with a score of 79. The gaps are now closing significantly, and he, of course, performed Fake Love. Thinking back now, we just rewatched the 3 performances right before we started recording, and I wonder if, I feel like, I don't know if Sunghoon made enough of an impact. I almost don't remember.
He honestly didn't for me. Like, I think he looked great on stage. I think he's been getting more and more like stage presence credit. But I mean, like vocal wise and like specifically dance skills wise, like I don't think he like really stands out. And I honestly, like with this show, it's just difficult because like the judges and producers watch the videos of their performance. Like they're not actually standing in front of them. So I'm also just kind of confused on like what parts they do see and what parts they don't, because obviously the camera isn't going to capture everyone in one go.
Because although we're living in a 3-dimensional world, we can only see in 2 dimensions. But people living in the 4th dimension can see in 3. Anyways. But again, we are also not seeing everything. So maybe there is something we're missing there. Sunghoon definitely is extremely talented. Definitely looks like a future idol to be. So maybe we're missing something. But the next scores, especially in the 70s, are very close. Speaking of, right under Sunghoon with his 79 is K with a 78 in DNA.
Yep.
I thought he did really great. I actually think he gave me a lot more than I expected from him. I think when I think of K, I think of a super talented dancer, someone with a lot of aggression. So it was interesting to see him be very charismatic and almost, teasing the audience a bit.
Oh, I think he does that really well, especially with the dance challenge where he had to like represent the Islanders with the hello.
Oh, iconic.
Yeah, very iconic. And I think that is like kind of his go-to like
charisma.
Yeah, like kind of giving that smirk
Right.
to the audience. But
I think when I remember that hello moment, obviously iconic Iland moment that will go down in history. But to me, I remember that was the start of his choreography that he made himself. So I wasn't sure if he was just literally flexing because he knew it was his moves and he made it and it was great. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a one-time thing, but I wasn't sure of the consistency. But I think with DNA, like, he did a really great job.
Oh yeah, I think on stage he knows how to work it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so literally another 1 point drop. Right below K is Sunwoo with 77 points with Fake Love.
Yep. And honestly, this kid has great vocals.
Yeah.
And there was this one moment in the show where he was kind of like singing a part of the chorus to Taki across the room. And, you know, it was just casual and literally his like mouth was full of like snacks. But he just like hit all the notes and he sounded great. So, yeah, I honestly always look forward to seeing Sunwoo on stage singing.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying too, like, he seems like he was just born to become a performer.
Yeah, no, honestly, Sunwoo, like, it's not even just his vocals. I wouldn't say he's like the best dancer, but he can dance, like, he can hit the moves. But it's his like stage presence and persona. I just really think he knows how to like switch on and off like different characters when he's on stage.
Like a professional.
Yeah, and honestly, that's like something you need in order to be an entertainer. And yeah, I just look forward to every single like different concept or different song that he'll be a part of.
Yeah, he seems like someone who can be very malleable to different themes and different concepts. So definitely something that I could see Big Hit seeing as like a huge benefit. Or sorry, B-Lift.
Yeah, and dare I say, we see a tiny bit of Jimin in Sunwoo.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like kind of like, not even just personality, because yeah, they're both like pretty cute and big on the aegyo. But I don't know what to call it, like almost as if like they're just like working their magic somehow with the audience.
Like a natural charm.
Yeah, they're just like pulling them in.
Yeah. Love him. Obviously, this is now a drop for Sunwoo because according to fan votes of last week, we didn't even really go over that actually, showing the rankings, but last week Sunwoo was number 1, and now according to the judges' deliberation, he is number 5. So I don't know if that was like a shock to him or whatever, but it's just interesting to keep track of the difference between the judge's opinion and the public vote, and in the end we'll see which weighs heavier. Number 6 now we have Jay with a score of 74 performing in DNA, and I loved Jay in DNA. If anything, this might be controversial, I could have switched Jay's spot with Sunghoon and put Jay at number 3 and Sunghoon at number 6.
Honestly, I could see that too.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think this is very much based on like the camera angles we got,
Right,
as
true.
just like a public audience. But Jay had big shoes to fill with, you know, V's part in DNA, because I think that part is very, very charismatic,
Right.
and not just about like the singing and dancing. And I think Jay filled those shoes very well.
I was honestly shocked. I feel like when it comes to Jay, the amount of screen time he does get, it's weird because they'll only show him if he like sucks at something or if no one wants to vote him for a part. And now I feel like recently he hasn't really gotten that much screen time, and it's because he's literally improving. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, definitely with these reality shows, they might purposely try to place like some character arc into it. But yeah, I remember like for the past few missions now, he's just been like great. And he's definitely climbed up to the top. I think he's still one of my top 3 trainees.
Yeah, I think he's definitely climbing into my top spots for sure. And then number 7, the last of the top 7, is Jake with a score of 70 in his performance of I Need You.
Yes. I personally don't think he like stood out to me in this performance. And it was just interesting because he was kind of like doing the rap part, which we don't really get a lot of exposure to in this show in general. Not a lot of people have
There are not a lot of rappers at all. Yeah.
I remember in the past mission, Jake did do like the J-Hope rap. I think he did Hobie's part in Fire, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't see him in like a higher spot, but yeah, I guess, 70 average.
Yeah, Jake stands, please don't try to come for us or cancel us. In the end of the day, these are all our opinions, and like we said with BTS earlier, we're subject to change our opinions. People grow, people learn, people change their mind. It's all just life. We're all just living in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the number 8 spot, it was Nicki performing DNA, and I think it's important to note that Nicki and Jake had a difference of score of 1 point, so it really could have been switched. It could have been swapped very easily, but I don't know. Nicki had an interesting character arc with this episode because he was trying to do this like freestyle thing, and then Kay was like, don't freestyle, like stick to the choreo, and then he was like, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And then obviously BTS choreographer came, one of the judges, who told, actually, when they showed the choreography to the choreographer, probably one of the literal choreographers of the choreo.
Yeah.
Whoa, I just said choreo so many times. I thought it was interesting that the advice that he gave to Nicki was to not freestyle, but he actually told the other boys, he said, if he's freestyling, you guys better freestyle too. Like, you guys better stand out. Because I guess he understands that at the end of the day, you can tell someone not to do something, but when it comes to the actual performance, he could just do it.
Yeah, that was also really interesting to me. But also, like, he's been working in the industry and, like...
Yeah, he gets it.
I mean, especially... I don't know if he's ever worked with other idol groups, because I know he's, like, big hit, like, hired.
Right.
But, I mean, working with BTS for so many years, he definitely has so much experience and a lot of, like, wisdom on these kind of things. But, yeah, that was a really interesting point. Like, telling the other trainees, like, okay, then, like... that means like you guys could have done something too. So but at the end of the day, he was like basically telling Nicki like, why are you doing that if no one else is doing it?
I also liked it though because I think primarily this is a competition. So if you want to do something to stand out, who is anyone to stop you? You know, you just want to stand out. You want to make your mark amongst all of these other trainees who are equally as talented. And yeah, I guess, you know, in the end, he said, you know what? Do what you have to do to make the impact that you need to achieve your dreams. And that's real. Yeah. That's on T.
Yeah. And usually I'm like pretty amazed by Nicki's dance, not gonna lie. I just feel like this song, maybe it's just a choreo, I wasn't like as like amazed by his dancing. I think he still has like the clean dance moves, but yeah, I don't know. I still think Nicki's like one of the best dancers though, so.
I agree. I always think about Nicki and Kay as some of the main dancers of this group, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe it was this episode or just what we've seen in the past, I don't see them debuting together. I think it'll have to be one or the other.
Interesting.
That's what I think. And I know we had the same dilemma last week too. But anyways, number 9, we have Hanbin, who had a score of 66, just 3 points below Nicki, also in DNA.
Yep.
I thought he was great. I think he is a solid performer, and I think with Hanbin, you can really see how much he's trying. You know, I don't want to push too much of the whole like cultural aspect and like plotline on him, but it's really tea that, you know, he is a trainee from Vietnam. You don't see that often. If anything, you do see like the China, Japan, even Thailand. But I maybe I'm being too empathetic, but I can't even imagine what he's going through. You know, I feel like he's really the first of his kind to come and make it this far onto a show, you know, backed by Big Hit Entertainment, arguably the biggest entertainment company, the biggest hitting entertainment company right now. And I feel like being on this show alone really means that he's made it. So maybe for that reason, I show him more support, more sympathy. But I think he's a solid performer, solid dancer, and I don't know. Whenever I see him in front of the camera, I feel like I can really feel that he's really trying to give it his all. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's ever like done a bad job. Obviously, like his dancing is always on par. I think dancing is definitely his strongest trait.
Yeah.
I do think he's another like really great dancer, but someone that can improve his vocals. And I think I see that with a lot of the main dancers in this group.
Yeah.
Although I will say in DNA, the part that he got was very fitting with his kind of type of singing and range. I will say I don't think he like necessarily stood out to me in the DNA performance. But I think DNA in general, I didn't have any member that was like really standing out to me. So yeah, I just think overall it was like a solid group performance. It's kind of hard for me to like pinpoint what scores each member in DNA should have gotten. But yeah, I will say because it's sort of a more lighthearted song, or maybe not lighthearted, a bit like not as serious as like Fake Love and not as emotional as I Need You.
Right.
So I think that might have impacted it because I just think, you know, looking at Fake Love, those members, I was just able to
be more moved.
Yeah, be
right.
like, oh wow, like his vocals, his dancing. But yeah, I mean, best of luck to him. And also not even just like the background and language, but age is a big factor too. Because I think in Korea, there's a lot of emphasis on age. Not even just a whole aspect of like, oh, you should be young to like be doing these things, but also it might have been a little awkward for him because he's like significantly older than a lot than the majority. I think he's like 22.
Okay.
So he might feel like a bit awkward being older. And you know, that is honestly kind of old for being like a debuting idol.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously it's something he really wants. So
yeah.
He's there.
There are some other older trainees though. Obviously, like Kay.
It's the reason that Hanbin wasn't ever like considered the oldest was because he's never on Island to like hang out with the older guys.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. So next in the number 10 spot, which is a huge drop for this person, one of our personal favorites was Daniel with a score of 64, performing in the group I Need You.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's true that he didn't like really stand out on stage, but I don't think he necessarily like didn't do well enough to like score a 64. I don't know. I always enjoy seeing like Daniel like perform on stage. I honestly really like his voice, even though he wants to be a rapper really badly.
True.
His vocals are great, and he can dance too. Yeah, I think it was just unfortunate that he didn't have that many moments to shine on I Need You, and he got the score. I'm just glad he didn't get eliminated, and I hope he can share more of his charms in a future stage.
Yeah. I like that you bring up his rapping because I want to hear more of that.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about in previous episodes, Iland definitely lacks rappers. So that's definitely a missing spot right now in what would be a future debuting group. So I feel like if Daniel can prove that he can bring rapping, I think it'll maybe up his spot with the judges. Because obviously he's already top 3 with the public vote as of last week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
And during the Q&A with BTS, well, I guess like their non-intentional Q&A because they didn't know BTS would answer the questions. But he asked BTS about like rapping and kind of like looking cool on stage, like rapping. And Suga's advice to him was just like, hey, I was like writing raps like all day. Like I was writing verses all day. So you should just like literally be doing that all day. And I think what I respect most about rappers is them being able to put their thoughts like into words and executing that. And also like DPR Live is like a really big, well-known like indie K kind of hip-hop artist. And Daniel was rapping a DPR Live song like in one of his like auditions. It was just like a few second clip that was shown on Island, but I mean the taste.
Yeah.
But also seeing how he's very conscious of this genre, I would love to see more.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last 2 spots are, so 11 and 12. Number 12 in last place, like we said earlier, was Taki with a score of 57, but he was exempted from elimination because Fake Love, the group that he handpicked, did get best group. So he was exempt from elimination, which meant that number 11, who was Konu, was automatically eliminated, which was very sad.
Yeah.
And tears were shed, as usual, as they are on Island every week.
Yeah, Konu definitely. I honestly could have seen him as like, I don't know, some kind of main vocalist down the line. I still really like his performance in Butterfly. I know. Yeah,
my favorite performance.
Yeah, like I know Heesung is like our ace, and his charisma just like blows you away. I admit Konu like didn't have the same amount as someone like Heesung, but I thought his vocals were always very solid. Even in Fire, him hitting those like higher notes.
Yeah.
I was honestly pretty surprised because I was like, oh, I didn't know like someone could sing like that in this group. But it was sad. I was a bit worried for him like the previous week when he was also in the 11th spot with a public vote.
Oh yeah.
So,
he stayed in that 11.
Yeah, so it was just unfortunate that this had to happen, and I know he had really close relationships with a lot of the other trainees,
right?
Especially Heesung. It was it was honestly really sad, and I don't know, maybe this show could help him like gain exposure, and he could, he could maybe sign with another agency and debut in another group,
or maybe even debut in 2022. Maybe if he goes back to Big Hit.
Maybe. I don't know what their like contract rules are. And I know he was also like one of the older guys in the group. So I just hope he can, for each and every one of these boys on iland, I just hope they can reach their goals and dreams somehow.
Right.
Like even if it's not with this group, like even with the other trainees that were eliminated, if this is their goal and dream, like I want them to be able to
accomplish it.
Yeah, like be on stage one day. I think that's like their ultimate goal, and I hope they can do that.
And I mean, they've already shown to us that they're immensely talented and definitely deserving of reaching those goals. So all we can do is continue to support.
Yep.
And that we will. Welcome to Outro Spotlight, the end of the show where we tell you our favorite of the week, recommendation, and I think this week we probably have the same thing. 2 words. What? Yeah. 2 words. Stream Dynamite. Like we said earlier, although we did hit the 100 million views, ARMYs are still working hard to stream and get as many views as possible. Hopefully 200 million views by the release of their next music video. So
yeah, and don't forget to add Dynamite to your playlists on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you use. I mean, this is honestly like such a good song. I don't even need to be told to like listen to this song because I can listen to this all day. But yeah, let's continue streaming. Let's give the boys a Billboard Top 100 #1 spot.
Yes, they deserve it.
Yeah, and this will also get released on Jungkook's birthday, like the outcome. So what better birthday present than hearing that you're #1 on Billboard?
Yeah, other than that, like we said, keep streaming, keep doing what you're doing. Watch iland. We'll be here next week, as always. You've been listening to the idolfm podcast. You can find us on social media and on YouTube. Check out our YouTube. We're posting content at idolfm podcast. You can also check us out on TikTok at idolfm. Other than TikTok, all of our other social medias are at idolfm podcast. This has been Tenzin.
This has been Patty.
Reminding you to love yourself. Bye.